In this video, we'll take a look at types of relationships. Remember, in statistics, one of the things we're always trying to ask ourselves is, does association imply causation? And we've learned that that's not always the case. There are many types of causations or types of relationships that Mr. Davies has right here. As you can see, there's causation, reverse causation, common response, and confounding. And to make this a little bit easier, we actually use this diagrams here to make our explanations a little bit more clear to understand. So to talk about, say, causation, when we have two variables that definitely not only is there an association, in this case, say, between sodium and blood pressure, so this would imply there's an association. We would also know in this particular case there is direct causation. I think with all the medical history that we've touched upon regarding sodium intake, we definitely know that here there is a causation. However, as we've seen previously, this is one of Mr. Davies' favorite examples. Sometimes you might have two variables that have an association, like in this case, shoe size and reading score. So yep, there is an association there, but there's definitely no causation. Remember when Mr. Davies said, oh, shoe size, bigger shoe size leads to a higher reading score. Martha, go and get junior size 15 shoes. You know, that's one of his favorite examples. We know that there is no causation here. What actually is happening here is there is a lurking variable. In this case, you could say brain or brain development. And that is actually the main cause of not only a higher shoe size, but a higher reading score. So in this case, we would say that this is what's called a common response. You think there's an association going on here, but really there's a lurking variable that's the direct cause for both these things being associated. And of course, then we can have a confounding relationship. In this case, where you think there might be a connection between two variables, but there are actually not only one looking variable, but they could be a bunch. In this case, that's confounding. And to show you that, if you remember, there was a time when people thought that if you took AP Latin, that would lead to very high SAT verbal scores. So this really, we don't know if this is the case. There is an association, but it turns out we don't know if there actually is causation. So I'll put that as a question mark, okay? And if I go back to this slide, these are some of the lurking variables. Students who take AP Latin could have a high IQ, and that then leads to a high SAT verbal score. Students who take AP Latin are probably more motivated, so that leads to not only doing well in AP Latin, but a high SAT verbal score. And then of course you also income, this plays a role. Sometimes parents can allow you to take AP Latin, pay for you to take AP Latin, and that also then would lead to a higher SAT verbal score because you come from a higher socioeconomic background. And this I think maybe this you can copy down. So this is called a confounding relationship because we don't exactly know. There should be a question mark here. I just cannot draw it in, but there should be a question mark here. We don't know whether or not there is a direct causation. If taking AP Latin does indeed cause a high SAT verbal score. So once again, there should be a question mark here. Okay? And we will see you in the next video. Thanks!